CSUN students expressed their opinions in reaction on the 9/11 anniversary. Hillary Clinton stumbled and nearly fell when leaving a 9/11 anniversary event. There are so many fantasy football app users that it's causing the application to crash.
This is Valley View News.
Hello and welcome to Valley View News. I'm Michael Serrano.
And I'm Abril Preciado.
Thousands of Americans gathered to commemorate the 15th anniversary of the lives lost in the tragic terror attacks on September 11th. After a moment of silence at Ground Zero, people remembered nearly 3,000 victims by announcing their names aloud. President Obama took part in a ceremony at the Pentagon honoring lives that were lost. Many sporting events also held brief ceremonies. Americans in different cities such as Denver reflected on the disastrous day as well.
I can recall exactly where I was at the time of 9/11 when the first plane crashed, and my heart just goes out to everyone.
A decade and a half has passed since the attacks when thousands of lives were affected. We will continue to honor those whose lives were lost.
Valley View News reporters Celine Zavala and Stephanie Bedoya talked to some CSUN students about what they remembered about the terrorist attacks on 9/11.
I remember waking up and being told that a plane had crashed into one of the Twin Towers and watching it on television, then going off to work, and then hearing later about both the towers collapsing.
I don't remember a lot. I was a little kid when it happened, but I do remember hearing about it through my parents when I was growing up, and 9/11 would come by and have the anniversary sort of thing. So I do remember learning about it like that.
I woke up in the morning and my parents told me what happened, and it was just everyone I remember from that day was very serious, very somber.
A family friend of ours used to work at the Trade Center, and so we were just I know my mom was freaking out, but I couldn't really understand what was going on.
The only impact I know is just that the airports have gotten more strict when traveling from country to country.
Hillary Clinton has been diagnosed with pneumonia. The Democratic nominee left this 9/11 ceremony early on Sunday after feeling overheated and dehydrated. She was unsteady as she walked away and appeared to stumble and nearly fall while stepping into a van. She was caught by a Secret Service agent. Clinton has been advised to rest and modify her schedule. Her doctor says she's recovering nicely.
The United States and Russia say they have brokered a ceasefire in the Syrian conflict. Hours before the ceasefire was set to start, Syrian President Bashar al-Assad said he would retake the territory controlled by terrorists. U.S. Secretary of State John Kerry said President Obama wants to deal to halt Syrian Air Force attacks on rebel targets.
This is the best thing we could think of, and President Obama has gone the extra mile here to try to find a way to see if we can bring people to the table and end the violence while they go to the table to try to settle this.
If the deal holds for 7 days, Russia and the U.S. will begin discussing military options targeting a major al-Qaeda affiliate and ISIS.
A group of Los Angeles activists has held a demonstration to protest what they say are abuses in the prison system. Valley View News reporter Ebony Hardiman has more on the group that calls itself Strikes Against Police Terror.
September 9th marks the 45th anniversary of the Attica prison riot, one of the most well-known prison riots in history. All over the country, protesters gathered to demand better living conditions, fair labor laws, and political rights for prisoners. Strike Against Police Terror member Julia Wallace organized a protest in Los Angeles in order to bring awareness to this issue.
We wanted to join with the thousands of prisoners that are on strike today throughout the country.
While the demonstration was mainly to bring awareness to the issues happening in prisons and giving support, it was also about bringing a community together. It included free food, music, and a reading circle. Cal State LA student Reina Sotelo says it's important to take a stand on this issue.
There has been a lot of injustices in our community on behalf of police department towards minorities and also in our prison system with our workers who are receiving 23 cents an hour for work, and they're also being treated as slaves.
Students from different universities are also taking the time to get involved, including students from Cal State Northridge, who passed out flyers during their club events and posted videos on social media. CSUN Africana Studies professor Amy Glocky says that being informed is the best way for students to get involved.
I think the first thing we have to do is educate ourselves on A, what's going on with the strike, and then B, what the prison industrial complex is happening currently, looking at it in the past, and then realizing that there are things happening in Los Angeles. There's protests, there's marches, plus there's a lot of people that do really great work in the prisons themselves in terms of like teaching classes and trying to make change. So educating first, of course, being aware of what's happening, and then getting out and actually doing something.
Strike Against Police Terror is calling on prison abolitionists, community organizers, and all oppressed people to stand in solidarity for as long as the prison population continues to rise and experience unjust treatment. Reporting from Los Angeles, Ebony Hardiman, Valley View News.
President Obama has met with congressional leaders to discuss government's funding and avoid a shutdown. A 3-month spending bill is being created to finance the government's past September 30th, the end of the current fiscal year. Lawmakers are ensuring the bill would extend the budget through December 9th. The bill would also provide emergency funding to fight the Zika virus. The directors of the Center for Disease Control and Prevention has said they are essentially out of money to deal with Zika.
North Korea has tested its 5th and most powerful nuclear bomb, and there's evidence it may test yet another. South Korea's military says it has plans to retaliate with precision strike missiles and special forces operations if it is attacked. South Korea also said it will avoid harsh rhetoric against North Korea and its leader Kim Jong-un. South Korea's president says although they are avoiding harsh rhetoric, she called North Korea's government fanatic and reckless.
One of the busiest freeways in Southern California has undergone some major repairs. Valley View's Dejanay Howard has a report on the 91 freeway project that got underway last week.
Bad news for some commuters in the Riverside County area. The 91 freeway, one of the most popular highways, will be closing nightly for construction. This highway connects the Los Angeles area to the Inland Empire area and beyond. The eastbound lanes will be closed from 10 p.m. to 5 a.m. The westbound closure will vary each night. This project is to widen the freeways and add new express lanes. Some Corona residents aren't very happy with the changes being made to the freeway.
It's just really making it difficult for me to commute to work. It's making my days a lot longer, and I can't spend as much time with my family.
The goal of this expansion is to reduce congestion.
Gonna be even more money coming out of my pocket because then I have to pay more for the toll road. So on top of that, I'm already paying for gas. I'm already paying or wasting more time in traffic. And now on top of that, for the toll road, I'm gonna have to pay more money to be on that toll road. So I think it's just not beneficial at all.
In Corona, Dejanay Howard, Valley View News.
Up next on Valley View News, a baby is born on a refugee boat in the Mediterranean Sea. The LA County Fair is back, but is struggling to attract people.
And a hot-selling smartphone may be too hot as a new model from Samsung has a risk of catching fire.
Patriotism. It inspires passionate debate. It's worn like a badge of honor with good reason, because it means love and devotion for one's country. But what really makes up this country of ours? It's the people. To love America is to love all Americans. This year, patriotism shouldn't just be about pride of country. It should be about love, love beyond age, sexuality, disability, race, religion, and other labels. Because love has no labels.
County fairs statewide are spending more money than they make. Less people are going to the fair, which could change the future of this annual event. Valley View News reporter Gabriel Ortega has the story.
Welcome to the 94th anniversary LA County Fair.
One of the largest county fairs in Southern California, the LA County Fair attracts as many as 1 million visitors annually. The fair includes 500 acres of animals, attractions and games, parades, foods, and many vendors. But visitation has decreased, which could mean a decrease in the fair experience as well. Fairgoers have already noticed this change.
This county fair is getting smaller and smaller. They're changing it. So, unfortunately, they have so many booths that have the same thing for sale. There's all these waterbed stores, all these different things that are the same.
In contrast to other counties, the LA County Fair operates like a self-supplying nonprofit organization and has developed the basic fair model into a conglomerate of sorts, having a hotel conference center, food and beverage businesses, RV parks, and early childhood development programs that operate year-round. Public Relations Manager Renee Hernandez says that because it is not a private business, the LA County's fair's goal is not to make money, but to help the community.
Yeah, we're here for a month, and we do provide a huge economic impact to the community, to the region, and to the county just within that month. Normally, we have about 200 employees, full-time employees. When the fair gets here, we ramp that up to 2,000 employees, both full-time and part-time, that help us put the fair together.
The LA County Fair also provides a venue for local vendors to sell their products to a larger base. But with a smaller amount of fairgoers, business could be slow for them as well. It's Tiffany Izzard's first year as a vendor, and she says that making money is not the most important thing to her either.
It's not about the dollars that you've made, maybe the connections that you made. So sometimes those connections will translate into future dollars. So I know as a vendor, we're all here to make money. I mean, that's how we feed our families. But sometimes it's not about the day-to-day dollars. You know, you really do meet so many great people, and you never know what door that's going to open for the future.
The LA County Fair will continue through September 27th, Wednesdays through Sundays. In Pomona, I'm Gabrielle Ortega, Valley View News.
Samsung is recalling its Galaxy Note 7 cell phones because they can catch fire while charging. The Consumer Product Safety Commission is urging users to turn off their phones or get a refund. Airline passengers were warned by authorities not to use or charge their phones while on board. The company announced that it will no longer sell the phone, even though less than 1% of the phones are thought to be defective.
The Italian Coast Guard says a child has been born on a refugee boat in the middle of the Mediterranean Sea. Officials say the newborn and his mother were among more than 2,000 migrants rescued in the past week. The mother had gone into labor when fleeing Libya in a small rubber boat. She gave birth shortly after being rescued. According to the International Organization of Migration, over 250,000 people have fled to Europe by sea this year. Over 3,000 people have died attempting the journey. Most of those who died were Libyans trying to reach Italy. Many were aboard crudely built boats made of plastic or wood.
Now let's go to Ariana Takis for the latest in health.
Studies from the National Survey on Drug Use and Health show that over 22 million Americans need treatment for substance abuse, but only about 1% seek treatment. Valley View News reporter Arabella Hernandez learned about the problem through a relative who battled drug addiction. Here's Hernandez's report.
Marisol Hernandez is a survivor and still in recovery after years of using drugs. She lost her lower legs and fingers after an overdose.
When I was about 18, 17, 18, when I was in high school, I started trying them.
Hernandez has been suffering from diabetes most of her life and says the mix between not taking care of her disease and the use of methamphetamines led to this consequence.
That was the way it's supposed to happen because I was doing really, really bad. I was already dying because of the drugs. So I think God gave me an opportunity and I'm like, I have to continue. Whatever way I have to do it, I'll do it. I'm like, right now I think nobody can stop me.
Substance abuse counselor Rafael Girardo says that there is no single type of treatment that is going to work for everyone and challenges those who think that the recovery process does not work to keep seeking.
They can do it. They just have to do it and realize that it's going to take a few times, that it doesn't happen overnight. Their addiction didn't start overnight and it's going to take time and support. Each person has to find their way. We support those ways, and that's the issue, that if you're not ready, then you're not ready.
Hernandez is not only celebrating her substance use recovery, but also being a survivor of domestic violence and depression. She says being sober has been one of her greatest accomplishments.
It feels really, really good. It feels awesome.
National Recovery Month celebrates those who are in the process of a more enriched and healthy lifestyle, but also serves to educate Americans that prevention, treatment, and recovery is possible. In Los Angeles, Arabella Hernandez, Valley View News.
2 men from the San Fernando Valley have died from the West Nile virus. The deaths are the first confirmed this year in Los Angeles County. In recent years, September has been the peak for human West Nile virus infections. Throughout California, 108 people have been infected with the virus this year. People are urged to use insect repellent and eliminate standing water around homes where mosquitoes can breed. Smells from all over the world swirled throughout the city of Orange streets over the Labor Day weekend. Several 100,000 festival goers attended the 44th Annual International Orange Street Fair. Valley View News reporter Vanessa Cortez has more on the story.
This past Labor Day weekend marked the 44th Annual Orange International Street Fair in the city of Orange. Loretta Heron says that each year it gets better.
It's the best thing ever because great bands, the great food, and I see people that I know from my own neighborhood sometimes, and it's just a great place just to come and hang out.
Several nonprofit organizations take part in the street fair to raise money.
Well, with Orange Youth Sports, I've been helping out since my children have been in Little League, and so that's about 7 years or so. And when I was younger, at age 13, I started working in booths because I was in other organizations that were fundraising.
This year, Italy joined old favorites such as Greece, Japan, and among 15 other countries, hosting several food booths. The neat thing about the Orange International Street Fair is you can try different variety of foods from different cultures. For example, these apple skivers from Denmark. The Orange International Street Fair has grown to become the largest food festival in Orange County. In Orange, Vanessa Cortez, Valley View News.
The sugar industry has funded an analysis that points the blame for heart disease on carbohydrates and fat. Companies including Coca-Cola and Kellogg, as well as groups for agricultural products like beef and blueberries, regularly fund studies to become a part of scientific literature. Companies say that they adhere to scientific standards and that their funding is essential to advancing science. But critics say that such studies are often thinly veiled marketing that undermine efforts to improve public health. This study is the latest example showing how food and beverage makers attempt to shape public understanding of nutrition. Now back to you.
Up next on Valley View News, The Hollywood Reporter ranks CSUN in the top 25 schools. A new Miss America is crowned after answering a controversial political question.
And some NFL players continue to protest during the national anthem.
Every time I hear the alarm bell go off in school, I think it's an air raid.
A lot of houses in our neighborhood have been destroyed. I like to close my ears and sing songs whenever the bombs come close.
I'm worried our new neighbors won't like us.
But I know it's all gonna be worth it. I just want my family to be safe. But these are not my words.
These are not my words.
These are not my words.
Hart, what's going on? I'm leaving. Why? What did I do? Not enough. You constantly ignore me. You barely eat anything healthy. You're half as active as you used to be. The pressure is just too much. I quit. Okay, I get it. I'll do better. Just, please, don't leave. Okay. But remember, if I go, you go.
Listen to your heart. Don't let it quit on you. Uncontrolled high blood pressure could lead to stroke, heart attack, or death. Get yours to a healthy range before it's too late.
Hamilton was adopted from a rescue in 2008. He's quite the pug about town. He gets invited to a lot of parties. He knows he's a pretty big deal. How could you not love him?
Now, Sophie, for the latest in entertainment news.
CSUN's Department of Cinema and Television Arts has been honored as one of the best film schools in the nation. Valley View's Morgan Bertolotti has more in this edition of our Studio B.
I'm here with Professor Nate Thomas. He is the head of the film production option here at CSUN. How are you today, Nate?
I'm doing good, actually. How about yourself?
I'm excellent,
Good.
thank you. The Hollywood Reporter and Variety recently listed CSUN as one of the top universities for cinema and television arts education. That's pretty amazing. What is it that makes the program here at CSUN one of the best in the country?
One of the things is our proximity, obviously, to the industry. We're in the San Fernando Valley, and most of the studios are actually located in the Valley and not Hollywood. But I think over the years, the product. I think the product that's coming out of the film school, what our students are doing in the industry, what our alumni have become. I think our faculty are award-winning faculty. They're union members, Writers Guild members, Directors Guild members, and I think the diversity, the diverse student population that we have here, students that would not have an opportunity maybe at some of the other more what you would call prestigious schools.
Mm.
So they come here, they study with us, they learn what they need to know in order to compete in this business. And our students have voices and they go out and tell stories very reflective of their diversity and of their communities. And I don't think a lot of other film schools are actually doing that.
Absolutely. So is part of the program here to create a connection to the film industry?
Well, yeah, very, very much so. And we do it various ways. Our internship program is just well recognized in the industry as one of the best. But I think also it goes back to what the students are doing when they leave here. What are your alumni doing? And we have directors. There's a film out it just opened this past weekend called When the Bow Breaks, starring Morris Chestnut, produced by a former student of mine, Glenn S. Gaynor. Glenn is also president of physical production over at Sony Pictures.
Besides the location factor, what else sets CSUN's film department apart from other universities?
Well, that's a good question. That's also a tough question to answer. I mean, when it comes to...
Because CSUN got number 22 out of 25 on the list. That's pretty fantastic.
We actually beat
Yale and Florida.
We beat Yale because Yale is known for something else. They're known for other programs other than film. I think our students, it's really interesting, because I'm an alumnus of one of those schools. I'm an alumnus of the USC Film School. And there is an attitude at USC, and that's my alma mater, and I love my alma mater.
Prestigious.
But there's an attitude there, and I don't see that attitude with the students here. So our students are more modest.
A little more down to earth,
More
perhaps.
down to earth, and they have worked hard all their lives to get what they have received.
Right, nothing was handed to them.
And are willing to work even harder to make it in the industry. And
More
I think
of a wooden spoon, not a silver spoon.
Exactly. And I think that builds character. So I think there is it puts a different product in the industry. That's just my perspective.
The recent $2 million grant to CSUN from the Hollywood Foreign Press Association to help update the department's facilities, that is absolutely amazing.
That is amazing, but the Foreign Press has been involved in our program for 20 years. So each year we get anywhere from $50,000 to $60,000 for the senior film projects. This $2 million is a little bit different. It is to continue the upgrades, but it's also for the establishment of, half of the money, $1 million of it, is for the establishment of the Hollywood Foreign Press Association Scholars Program. This Scholars Program will give an industry mentor to work with this student so that when it's time to make the transition into the industry, they'll have someone to help them do that. And that's what's really key and what's really important.
That's absolutely fantastic. I really appreciate you meeting with me today, Nate.
Not a problem.
This has been Nate Thomas, the head of the film production option here at CSUN, and this is Morgan Bertolotti. Back to you in the studio.
Amy Poehler has won her first Emmy for Outstanding Comedy Guest Actress. After being nominated 18 times for acting, writing, and producing, she has finally taken home her first statue. The win was shared with Tina Fey for their recent appearance on Saturday Night Live, making it Fey's 9th win. The Television Academy said this time was the first time more than one person was nominated for the Guest Performer category. Miss Arkansas was crowned Miss America in Atlantic City, New Jersey. 21-year-old University of Arkansas student Savi Shields topped 52 contestants. Shields won the preliminary competition with a jazz dance performance earlier in the week. During the onstage interview, she was asked what she thought of Democratic presidential nominee Hillary Clinton. Instead of giving a direct answer, Shields gave some advice to both candidates. Shields said she wants to help people eat better for a healthier life. She says she used to suffer from an eating disorder. Back to you.
Thank you, Sophie. And here is Ariana with the sports.
The CSUN women's soccer team has scored its 5th shutout in a row. They played to a 0-0 draw against Pepperdine. The game against the Waves marks CSUN records set by the Matadors 2001 and 2012 teams. Junior goalkeeper Giovanni McCaskill collected 6 saves for her 5th clean sheet of the season. She made 2 saves in the opening period, including a diving save in the 45th minute. The Matadors have not been scored on in over 500 minutes of play. The last time CSUN gave up a goal was against North Dakota State on August 26th. The anger began on Sunday, just as 9 NFL games kicked off across the country. Fantasy football players suddenly discovered that ESPN's fantasy sports platform crashed on the first Sunday of the season. ESPN Fantasy Sports quickly said it was working to resolve the issue. It was not the first time fantasy football players were hit with a massive glitch during game time. ESPN says it's the most widely used fantasy football site in the country. A spokesperson told CNN that the issues were resolved by about 5:30 p.m. and the platform continued to function throughout the night. The NFL season has started with player protests around the league. Several players demonstrated during the national anthem on the anniversary of the September 11th terrorist attacks. Kansas City Chiefs players interlocked their arms during the anthem, while quarterback Marcus Peters raised his fist. Players on the New England Patriots and Seattle Seahawks also participated in the protest. The action started when San Francisco 49ers quarterback Colin Kaepernick refused to stand for the anthem to protest the killings of African Americans by police. Football fans have been split about whether the protests show disrespect for the country or make a statement about social justice. Los Angeles police officers are running an after-school program that is helping kids stay off the streets. Valley View News reporter Abril Preciado has more on this story.
The Van Nuys Jeopardy program is a safe house where kids hang out after school. It's currently offered in Van Nuys Middle School, in a neighborhood where local teens face the daily reality of gang life. The LAPD runs this program to teach teenagers discipline, self-defense, and most importantly, respect.
It all comes down to how they behave in school, at home, and their schoolwork. Because academically, we want to make sure that they do good in school.
One of the kids attending the program is Gio Gandara. He was placed in the program after his mother saw him hanging out with the wrong crowd.
I guess a little troublemaker, just getting into fights and being out in the street.
Gandara started Jeopardy at age 11 and formed part of the boxing program. He's trained by 3-time world welterweight champion Carlos Palomino, who's also a volunteer in this program.
Some of these kids already have been in trouble, already gotten in trouble. And so, I try to mentor kids about school, about, education, about doing the right thing.
Although Palomino's goal is not to create world champions, he sees a potential in Gandara. He's recently won the Diamond Belt Championship and Junior World Olympics.
He's progressed constantly. We're in this gym, we're sparring with professionals. So that's how he's going to learn, that's how he's going to get better. So I see big things for him.
Gandara aspires to become the lightweight champion of the world one day. He also hopes to inspire young lives.
I impacted another kid's life. Then from there, he could impact another kid's, and it could be ongoing.
The Jeopardy program is also offered in other locations within the Los Angeles County and hopes to help empower and change the lives of at-risk children. In Van Nuys, Abril Preciado, Valley View News.
That's it for sports. Back to you.
Thank you for watching Valley View News. I'm Michael Serrano.
And I'm Abril Preciado. See you next week.